Hey guys, what is up? Aoki here, bringing you some more educational support coaching content. Today we're going to be looking at Senna, a player by the name of Stargazer Seraph. She's currently in bronze, but we're going to get that up to silver. We're going to get that up to gold. We're going to be making some serious strides to improve. And who better to learn how to improve at Senna than the greatest support alive, rank 1 Senna, baby. So before we get into the game, I just want to say if you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel. Really lets me know that you guys want more of this type of content. And so Stargazer Seraph, I did take a look at your runes, so you're going for the more utility page, Airy. Currently, now I know that this is a build that I have highly recommended in the past, but currently, especially going into this next patch, 12.11, everyone's kind of going fleet footwork. So I don't think this is a bad page by any means. In fact, this is one that I've used in Grandmaster quite a lot. I usually go Airy if I have a double marksman. So, you know, we've obviously got an Aoki viewer on our hands. As for that, beyond that, your runes looked good. The only thing I would swap out is you're using an attack speed rune on Senna instead of a straight up adaptive. And then you've also got a health rune. I would swap those out for adaptive and MR or armor. Also, Nautilus is my permaban if I'm planning to play Senna or even Pike, which are kind of my two tricks in ranked right now. I always ban Nautilus, but that's okay. This will be a great learning opportunity to see how you play against Senna's hardest matchup. All right, so we're going for an invade. Love it. Love the proactivity. Easy double root. Not sure how necessary the Scion Flash was there. But, yeah. Oh, one other thing is that I did take a look at your OPGG, and it looks like this jungler, Horny Turtle, this is your duo. So I'm going to be doing this coaching session under that assumption, unless you just happen to get matched up with them like 8 times. But, yeah, I'm assuming that's your duo. All right, well, successful invade. Pretty good. So we're going to go back. We're going to grab our red trinket. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Here we go. I love it when I see things that I'm constantly telling people to do on my stream and in my coaching sessions, and I actually see them in coaching sessions. Love it, love it. So yeah, going back and getting your red trinket after warding their jungle level 1, regardless of if you're playing Senna, that's just a really, really good move to do on support. It's basically like a little bit of a cheat code because you get to use your yellow trinket and then you get to use your red trinket all at level 1. It's really, really useful. All right, so in a lane like this, you never, ever want to be able to draw a line from Nautilus to Senna. And I mean, not even for a second. Because Nautilus's hook does something called lollipopping, which means that at the end of the hook, it will prioritize right at the edge of the hook, the like final inch of the hook. It will prioritize champions over minions. So Nautilus could actually hook right here. And it's going to prioritize. It may look like it's going to hit this minion, and this minion's keeping you safe, but it's actually going to prioritize you. It's going to grab you. Once again, you're stepping outside of your minions. Against a hook champion like Nautilus, Thresh, Blitzcrank, you absolutely do not want to ever be able to draw a line from between you and the hook champion. You are just giving them a chance to hook you. And in a lane like this, you know, against the MF, she's got pretty good lane presence. You're going to be losing half your health bar for every hook. Possibly having to flash as well. So you want, see, he was able to draw that line. Now, luckily, it wasn't you this time. We're doing a decent job at keeping him alive. Not okay. He's not actually going to die. Good stuff. See, that area and heal came in clutch. Also, by the way, even though you just technically saved him with heal, I would absolutely always try to make sure that you have an exhaust. Exhaust is such an insanely broken spell. Ideally, your ADC goes exhaust instead of ignite. I don't know why he went that. But, you know, maybe in champ select, ask him, hey, can you go exhaust? Heal is obviously going to be a little bit better on you using this build because you have revitalize in your secondary runes. So heal is better on you than the ADC. But I really want to see if your ADC doesn't take exhaust, you should take exhaust. All right, what is this? What is this positioning? You should never, ever, ever be able to draw a line between you and the hook champion. And he didn't even auto you there. He could have autoed you, auto queued you. You know, MF's following up on the damage. Jin has 10 HP. You should have gotten chunked there. So you're getting away with a lot, but eventually you're going to be playing against players that will not let you get away with that much. So you don't want to build up those bad habits. Looks like we got a free gank here. That's not a bad aggro flash because you get the slow off of your Q. You might actually kill her here. Nice. Good stuff. This is actually really good. Well played. Other than, you know, this positioning right here where you're getting hooked. Now you could kind of argue that you're baiting here because you know your jungler's coming. But it's really, really risky and hard to use your health bar to bait as Senna just because, like, you are so weak. But yeah, I actually like the very decisive flash slow here because it forces her to flash super early, and then she doesn't have flash to dodge the Nautilus hook. Very nice. All right, so we're going to push in this wave. We're going to leave. We're going to go reset. All right, you're wasting too much time here on the reset. What are you doing here? It doesn't even matter if this is warded because your jungler is going to be pathing up. He's not coming back. So it doesn't really even matter if they can see him coming back because he's not coming back. You are stalling your reset by not just instantly pressing B like Jhin. I just did another coaching session, and I really had to hammer in the fact that controlling that you need to, like, really be consciously thinking about when you're warding and when you're sweeping, because like I just explained, it doesn't really matter if they can see that. Also, they're going to be coming back, and one of them is almost certainly going to buy a control ward, which means that's going to be warded anyways. And then you can, once you shove them all the way in, you can go up there and clear that control ward if they got one. Did they? Nope, they didn't get one. Wow. But yeah, it was not a good timer to sweep there, is all I'm saying. Because look, now you're a couple seconds back from Jhin. You know, worst case scenario, Nautilus might be in this bush. Now your Jin's 2v1 for a couple seconds. Oh my god! See, guys, sometimes the worst case scenario actually happens. And this is all an extension, believe it or not. What am I watching? Okay. Let's talk about it. Sometimes in League of Legends, you make a bad play that turns out with a really, really good result. What I was going to say before I just watched them, you know, walk under their turret very slowly, is better players, slightly better players. Like, I'm talking like 5 to 10% better players kill this Jhin here. And it's kind of all because you stalled your back timer, right? Also, I'm not sure what we're doing here pathing-wise. This control ward's really bad. Always put it in the very center of the pit so that it sees the pit and the river. This is just an inefficient ward. It only sees the pit, doesn't see any of the river, right? Also, we're walking mid here. Roaming as Senna is almost never worth it. Like, it looks like you're actually going to have some pretty decent timing here, but I'm pretty sure they would have killed him anyways. You need to be walking back to lane pretty consistently as Senna. Now, this type of pathing where you come from base to mid lane is really, really good on, like, good roaming champions like Nautilus, Blitzcrank, Thresh, Rel, like all those people. Not so good on Senna for a couple reasons. One, she's like one of the slowest champions in the game. Two, she is very, very low agency if she happens to run into someone. You know, she can't dash over a wall, or she usually can't duel the jungler or anything. And three, her souls give away her ganks. The second that you step into this bush, when a minion dies, a soul's going to show. So I know this wasn't necessarily like a gank. It was more of like a just showing up for, you know, the action. But, oh, you actually didn't even get anything. You didn't even get an assist. So yeah, they 100% were going to do this without you. And you weren't there to protect Jhin from the dive. So it's kind of like a domino effect of bad things that could have happened. Again, the bad things didn't happen, but they should have happened. So it's like you don't want to build your habits upon purely based upon like good results from bad actions. Yeah, this was just like really not a good use of your time. Okay. So when we go the Airy build, I'm guessing, because you're a, you know, I can tell you're an Ioki viewer. I'm guessing you're going to go from Umbral into Locket, which is a great build. Really, really like it. Again, we're recording this currently on patch 12.10. It may be a terrible build next patch. Who knows? Umbral is getting nerfed, but we'll see. As for now, I think it's a really good build. And we kill the Nautilus. Nice, nice, nice. All right, so let's go do Dragon. Let's get this shoved in. Rule of thumb, you always... Oh, actually, it's going to be a little hard to do Dragon. Actually, no, it's still good. Victor's super low. Rule of thumb, always shove in your waves before you do an objective. Always shove your waves in before you do anything. Like I was talking about earlier, controlling this bush, if you just push the wave in, you can go control the bush. If you just push the wave in, then you can roam mid. If you just push the wave in, then you can go do dragon. And what that does is it makes it 10 times harder for them to actually contest this dragon. Because MF has to be here catching this wave, right? The only thing that would make this dragon a little sus is if Victor came, because your mid laner did just die, but should be totally free. Very nice. Also, just because, you know, I love this little trick and I love saying it. If you Q the dragon right before it says, or right before it dies, the dragon drops 2 souls, right? And they'll throw them into the back of the pit. But if you Q right as the dragon dies, you can pick both of those up at the second that they spawn. Like you Q right there. Kills the dragon, picks up the souls, and it saves you, you know, 4 or 5 seconds of walking to the back of the pit and picking these up individually. See, League of Legends is all about, like, finding these itty-bitty inches, these milliseconds that you can shave off. And trust me, that has saved my life. That has made ganks that wouldn't have been successful more successful. See, this right here is why ganking his Senna is really hard. All right, where are we going? What are we doing here? You need to be bot, bro. You need to be bot. I think this is a case of you dueling with their jungler, and like he's probably saying he wants to make a play topside, but you need to be bot. Especially, this is best case scenario actually, because one of the biggest weaknesses of Senna is the fact that she can't match roams for champions that are actually good at roaming. Like Nautilus is the one that should be topside right now, causing havoc, you know, ganking your top, setting up for Rift Herald, ganking your mid, but he's not. This is best case scenario because you are much more useful in the bot lane than he is. Yeah, I think this is just a case of like, you're playing for your duo too much. That's like one of the worst parts about duoing is that you always kind of feel pressured to like make the play that he's doing or like play for him. You know, I see it all the time. Like junglers will gank for their mid duo instead of just like playing how they would normally play. And what happens is they end up forcing plays and not spending their time very efficiently. Like, what did you do up here? Nothing. What are you good at? What can you do up here? And still, it's like nothing. Like best case scenario, okay, we killed this guy, but like, look, your ADC is getting destroyed. And like, there's certain matchups where ADC can just like free farm under turret, but Nautilus and MF is not one of them. So it's like you know. I hate to say this because I know you mentioned in the email where you register this coaching that like, oh, you know, Jin and Lux were flaming you and saying it's all your fault. I hate to say this, but they're kind of right. You should not be roaming as Senna this much. This is like you need to be in lane, stacking your souls, you know, making sure, scaling up, making sure that your Jin isn't going to be 8 kills behind. Yeah, this is just I don't think I've ever said this in a coaching session before, because I'm all about, you know, having presence on the map and being out there, making plays across the map, not just bot lane. But this is the first time I've ever said this in a coaching session. You're roaming too much. Like, this is what you should be doing. This is where you're useful, right here. Look at all these souls. Look at this. You're scaling. Look at this. You're getting plates. Yeah, they did not respect this at all. So the Rift Herald always takes a set amount of plates. It's 2 plates, whether it's the first 2 or the last 2. That's why hitting the turret right here is really, really important to make sure that it kills the last 2 plates. But they did not respect that at all, so it looks like you guys get a little bit of free flash, maybe? Oh my god. Okay, so we got some fiestas going on here. We got some fiesta fighting going on here. Oh, that's a yeehaw right there. Not bad. I mean, it's not the worst result. It's a 3 for 2. You guys are going to be alive for the dragon, and you guys got the turret, so that's still a win in my book. We go straight to the dragon. It looks like we're going Boots of Swiftness. Against this team, honestly, I probably would have gone Merc Treads. Merc Tread's very good against Shaco, Victor, pretty good against MF, good against, decent against Nautilus, and it just gives you a little bit more survivability. All right, I want to kind of pay attention to how you're DPSing, how you're comboing here. Now remember, you should never be able to draw a line between you and the Nautilus. So as he walks forward, you need to be walking this way. And what you're doing is actually walking the opposite way. You getting an auto Q auto here doesn't really do anything to his health bar. And what it does is put you in absolute risk for him to just press Q and insta-kill you. Because worst case scenario, someone's here, heck, someone's here, right? You need to be... Think of it as like a stick between you and Nautilus. There's an invisible stick between you two, right? And it's a set distance. It's about the distance from like here to him, because that gives you like a decent chance to dodge it from side to side. Never push that stick towards him, right? If he walks forward, you back up. If you walk forward, he should be backing up. And if he's not, that means he, you know, he's planning to give you a different kind of stick. Just space correctly is what I'm saying. I don't know why I did this long drawn out stick analogy. All right. DPS here, DPS. I'm seeing a lot of like kind of panic walking around in circles. Remember, you're playing with the reset champion, Viego. So if you can just get him to reset on Shaco, it's huge. So, but like this whole time, we're just not DPSing anything. Also, I noticed that you prioritized healing Viego there over queuing the enemy. You should always queue the enemy over healing your ally. If they're in close proximity like this, you target him, which means it doesn't hit him. But if you queue him, there's actually 3 hitboxes for Senna's Q. In the middle is the damage beam. That's the one that like you shoot at your enemy. And on both sides is a little thin healing hitbox. If you queue this Shaco, it's going to heal the Viego. But if you queue the Viego, it's not going to hit Shaco. So always prioritize the offensive over the healing when they're that close. Like when they're in like actual melee proximity. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of kind of just like walking around and like wasting precious seconds in these fights. All right, we got Umbral. Super, super good item against Shaco especially, because it can reveal his boxes. All right, we're walking the lane, making sure Jhin doesn't die. Realistically, what you guys should be doing here is because you've already taken this turret, you want to actually shift your bot lane to the top lane and go 2v1 this turret while Sion can very safely farm under tower or 2v1 or pull 3 people, and then it's really good for you anyways. But sometimes, especially in lower elos, people don't know how to make those swaps. You can suggest it. Like if there's ever a time when Sion is in base, just be like, hey, Sion, go bot lane. We're going to go top. Because what this does is it kind of like keeps you down here with no real reason. Also, you're disrespecting this Nautilus so much. So much. I can't stress that enough. But yeah, it kind of just like puts your bot lane down here when you could be creating like numbers advantages up here. Like let's say their top lane is also at this fight. Best case scenario for us, this is a 2v2, right? Who knows if we'll win that? Hopefully we do, but who knows? But if you have your bot lane up here, that's a man advantage. It's the same reason that bot lane even goes to the bot lane, so that you have a man advantage at Dragon. Like that's what shapes pretty much, it's like a big part of what shapes the entire meta is you want more people at the Dragon than the enemy team, right? That's why you send 2 people to bot lane. But you already have Dragon. So unless Dragon's on, you know, Dragon's off the map, unless Dragon's on the map, then you want to send your duo bot top. A lot of micro mistakes being made here, mostly just stemming from the fact that you are not respecting them at all. Like this positioning, you have to understand, even if you're ahead, even if you have 3 kills and their Nautilus has died 7 times, Nautilus autos you, Qs you, and MF kills you. Like every time. Like he's even playing this terribly and you almost still die. So stop stop giving him open season on hooking you. Just play in your minions. Play in your minions, play behind your turret, play behind your front line. Do not ever give Nautilus a chance to hook. Because even if he doesn't, it's still your misplay. It's like that positioning is bad. All right, you can get a much deeper ward than this, by the way. This is the most scared ward of all time. You can at least put it right here. If you have your mid lane here to walk you in, you can put it back here. You want to be getting as much deep vision as possible, and you have a massive advantage because they don't have a turret. So this whole area for them really isn't as safe as it was when they did have a turret, right? This is almost like, especially once your wave pushes up this far, this is kind of your turf now. Think of it that way. This is like a super, super scared ward. Definitely should be willing to walk in a little deeper than that. All right. See, this is where Sion should absolutely be going bot instead of Jhin. I understand that this isn't Sion and Jin's coaching session, but like you could still be telling them that. DPS this Jhin here next time, or DPS this Victor next time. You're focusing the tank when you could literally just 3-shot this Victor, and then Victor doesn't get off anything. Luckily, Lux did that job for you. All right, now we reset. We set up for Dragon. We're going to use this. Oh, whoopsies. I mean, it was kind of just another extension of you, like, taking so long to reset here. But that's just kind of an unlucky death. But what we're going to do is we're going to drop that Rift Herald mid, ideally. Oh, we dropped it top. That's fine. Dropping it top does the exact same thing results-wise. We're just going to go straight to Dragon. And rule of thumb, what do we do before we do Dragon? We shove in our wave. So you should be here assisting Lux and shoving this wave out. You should be here in mid lane. Viego doesn't need help. Lux does. Not really even sure what Viego's doing here, to be honest. But you're kind of doubling down on the bad play. Yeah, so the whole idea was to just, like, shove the mid wave. Getting mid prio makes Dragon a million times easier than, like, face-checking bushes or whatever that was. Just be here, like, path from here to here, and then just assist Lux. Make sure she doesn't, like, get dove by Shaco or something. Get this wave in, and then you walk to Dragon together. Also, you can use these porters to save you a couple seconds. It's kind of becoming like a running theme in this coaching session, is saving a couple seconds here and there. But honestly, especially with the champion like Senna, where all of her abilities are very, very slow, seconds matter, right? Like, imagine if you got to that fight 4 seconds earlier. Could have been a totally different fight, right? All right, it's going to be a flip for the Dragon, it looks like. Okay, we stop hitting the Dragon, though. We should stop hitting the Dragon. Because, think of it this way. They can't hit you and the Dragon, right? They can't. Your jungler is going to be there before them. So all you have to do is stop them from hitting the Dragon. And you just do that by hitting them. You're making their job easier. I understand you're trying to flip the Dragon and just, like, coin flip it. And hopefully you get the last hit. But what you should be doing is walking up, DPSing MF, or even just, like, DPSing Nautilus. Don't DPS the Dragon there. Just stall for Viego. If you just stalled for, like, 10 more seconds, would have been fine. But yeah, you should really only, like, be trying to flip it if it's, like, already at, like, 200 HP. And then, yeah, shoot everything at it. Try to steal it. There we go, back mid. All right, we need to be really careful here because we have no vision on either side. We know that Shaco is near, I believe. So just let her shove this into us. Take this wave super, super safe. Hopefully that's what you do. I have no idea why Lux is pinging you. I truly don't. All right, we got our locket now. Nice. All right. We're going to go try to put out this fire. Remember, putting a Q on the set is much more efficient because it's going to slow them. It's going to heal your Scion too. Okay, definitely don't use your ulti like this. Your ult is way too high cooldown to be using it for whatever this is. Looks like you're just like kind of guessing that you can hit the Victor here. Yeah. Your ult has obviously way more value in actual team fights than like looking for snipes. Like I know that you've probably seen me do that on YouTube or on stream, yeah, because it's more fun content-wise that you get a like crazy cross-map snipe with it. But you want to wait until like you're shooting 10 people with it, because Senna's ult is balanced around the fact that you might hit 10 people with it, and by 10 I mean 5 allies, 5 enemies. So it has a really, really long cooldown because in its, you know, peak conditions, it's a really, really powerful spell. But like, I'm sure in the next like 2 minutes that your ult is down, like imagine if you had your ult here. Imagine if you come in behind him, you're getting like 4-man Qs, get a big 8-man ulti. It'd be huge. Right? But instead we kind of gambled it on maybe we get this kill. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even think if you hit him, it would have killed him, but maybe it would have. But yeah, don't gamble your ulti. Honestly, that's like the biggest thing that I feel like I struggled with when learning this champion, because it's so tempting to shoot for those, right? But just wait till you're like, get these nice congested team fights. And then you just get a lot more value out of it. Gives everybody a shield. Not the worst. I mean, that was pretty much just like trying to salvage Jin's play. Yeah, absolutely we do not defend this, though. Absolutely, we just do not defend this. We're not in position to. Our ADC's dead. They've got an entire wave. They've got 2 champions that are insanely good at diving. We can defend this turret, but like we have to defend it from back here, if that makes sense. We have to like stand back here and let them like try to dive the Scion or something. But you gotta remember, you are made of literal paper as Senna. It's very hard to like pin yourself. Also, don't ever walk through here unless you absolutely have to, because it makes them landing skill shots super easy. You can't dodge left to right, right? So it's just like removed so many options, mobility options for you. Yeah, keep hitting him, keep hitting him, keep hitting him. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are we afraid of? What are we afraid of? He's stuck in here. He has no flash. You just kite him around. If he walks at you, remember that invisible stick? You just walk backwards. He has no way to get on you. He's stuck in the pit. You guys 100% like, he's a caged animal, guys. But he's out now. Yeah, you guys for sure should have like killed the set while he was stuck in the pit, or at least like DPS'd him. But we're working with what we got here. Absolutely just kill this MF. 100% you just auto her. It lowers your Q cooldown. You double tap her. You've got way more health than her. And now this Nautilus might kill you. It'll be close. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, you should have killed the MF. All right, what are we doing here? What? How do we go from being in the back line with our wave to walking up and giving Nautilus a kiss? You have got to start respecting Nautilus hook. Nautilus is one of the most straightforward champions of the game. You know exactly what he's going for. You know exactly his play. He's pretty much got one play, right? Don't give him that play. Like, at the very least, you need to be standing in minions so that he has to ult you as you're engaged. All right, we're choosing to not use the tunnels again. I'm not really here to critique your missed skill shots. Obviously, missed skill shots are bad, but like, you know, the W is a very, very slow moving ability, so you're not going to land all of them. You can kind of like lead it a little bit. Like as your game knowledge grows, you'll start to understand like which way this Shaco is going to be running, for instance, right? Like, do you think he's going to be running towards the Scion or through his jungle? You know what I mean? So it's like you can kind of know which way they're going to juke. Very important skill. I don't know if you play hook champions, but understanding that kind of stuff is really important as a hook champion player. But all right, once again, we're putting our ward in the worst spot possible. Do you see how terrible this ward is? It doesn't even reveal this ward. You have to start putting your ward right here in the center. You have a control pit in the dragon pit that doesn't see a ward in the dragon pit. Put it right here, it would. But also, you need to be waiting for your team to escort you at this stage of the game. We're 29 minutes into the game. A throw like this, you know, them catching Senna, this could very reasonably result in Baron or Dragon Soul or lots of bad things. Need to start moving with your team a little bit more now. Now that we've reached this stage of the game. Also, you have not used your locket. Did you just get it? When did you get your locket? Wait, you've had your locket for like 3 team fights. Make sure you're using that. No point in buying an item if you ain't gonna use it. All right, let's see how this game closes out. Because usually around now, in these low elo games, this is kind of like the part of the game that becomes slightly uncoachable. It's just, you know, Fiesta fights, people running around. And just fighting without any real strategic reason to. I think your positioning is way too frontline oriented. You have locket, but you're not. You still haven't used the locket yet, by the way. Yeah. Just because you have locket doesn't mean you're an actual dedicated tank. The purpose of buying locket is to like let you survive like one more auto, like one more skill, right? It doesn't turn you into like an actual tank. That's for Scion. Senna operates a million times better when she has an actual tank to stand in front of her, which you do. You actually have like 1.5 tanks because Viego's going to be a tank half the time. Do I need to say it? Are you going to make me say it? All right. Also, this positioning, we do happen to see a bunch of them. Actually, this is good. This is actually good to get a ward like this. If we see this many of them. Why do we see these people? This is bugged. We shouldn't see that guy. Oh, we have all vision on. My bad, my bad. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, then this is bad. This is bad. If you see absolutely no one. Okay, you haven't seen anyone catch this wave yet. You don't know where Shaco is. We know because I just had all vision on. So, you know, we know that you don't die here, but you absolutely realistically could have. You're making the same mistake that you made over here. So just learn from your lesson. Wait for your team to get your waves in. Remember, rule of thumb, shove the wave and it's much easier to do everything, right? Shove the wave. It's much easier to do Dragon. Shove the wave. It's much easier to do Rift Herald and Baron. Shove the wave. It's much easier to get, you know, deep vision. Yeah, doing that without like shoved waves, aka prio, or at least your team to walk you in and escort you for that. Very, very risky. You're gonna die a lot doing that. Getting deep vision is super good. It's the sign of a proactive support. I love it, but doing it without you know, you need to know when to do it, right? I liked that though. I liked you actually DPSing that Nautilus. You knew that you were playing within your limits because he can't get to you, right? He doesn't have flash, and he can't hook through a wall. All right, looks like someone's TPing. Sion's pressuring mid, so this Baron, if they are on it, is a very, very desperate one. Looks like they're not on it. Nautilus is mid. They're going to reset. Okay, looks like we did finally use our locket. Huge. Look, you've used your locket and it blocked 500 damage. It's a broken item. Nice. Also, I haven't seen any ward Qs from you. Word Q is a very, very essential skill on Senna. So, like, while you're chasing down this MF, if you just put a word Q, tag her, she's slow, your whole team can follow up and kill her. Or you could slow her, root her, etc., etc. I haven't seen any of those, though. There's an ulti. Nice. Okay, like I said, this game is kind of just like devolved. This is absolutely not your place to be getting this wave like this. You should 100, 1 billion, 1 quintillion% be with your team here as support. Top lane doesn't really even matter right now. So you escorting this wave is an absolute waste of your time. Only makes you vulnerable, and these guys significantly weaker because they don't have their support with them, and they do. But really what you should be doing is controlling the pit because your Soul Dragon is up. Right? So this is the worst macro. This is the most offensive macro that I've seen you do. You're playing as if you're a top laner here when you're actually the support. Should 1,000,000% be at the Hextech Soul, not splitting top. All right, we got the soul, and it's a really good soul for you guys. So you probably just like run them over now, right? Okay, I'm gonna let this game play out as you guys, you know, get your win. You said in your email that Lux and Jin like blamed you for being behind. Like I said, I hate to say it, but there is some truth to what they said. You know, did they play any better than you? Absolutely not. This is a pretty decent performance, 5, 8, and 29. Good build, solid fundamentals. I want to see more ward queues. I want to see you roaming less, which again is crazy for me to say because I don't think I've ever said that. But Senna is probably one of the worst champions. You know, you don't roam with Senna, right? You can rotate. You can rotate to like dragon fights and stuff like that, but you don't do like actual ganks where you're going to be pathing from, you know, to mid from base that all that often. The most egregious thing that I've seen you do is just get hooked by Nautilus over and over and over again. And it's like, it looked like you were like surprised that he landed it or something. Like, did you just think he was not going to hook? But, what you can do is just not give him that opportunity. So Stargazer Seraph, I see a lot of opportunity or a lot of potential in you. If you have any questions at all, you know where to reach me. I know we covered a lot in this session. So seriously, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. You can reach me on Discord, Twitter, Twitch, OnlyFans, whatever. Just DM me, and I'd be happy to talk about it with you. If you guys watch this on YouTube, make sure you guys are subscribed, and really easy way of letting me know that you want to see more educational content like this. And put some whatever questions you guys have down in the comment section. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this coaching session. Take it easy, boys. Peace.